What's going on, guys? Dan with PC Tech Hustle coming at you with another video. Today I got for you guys some RGB case fans from IceTek that I just recently picked up for a new build I'm going to be putting together. And I want to go over with you guys why I think these are some great RGB case fans if you're looking to spice up your build a bit and not break the bank in the process. By the way, if you're new here and you enjoy RGB case fans and any other PC Tech related content, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and tick the bell notification icon. That way you never miss any of my latest content. Other than that, let's get cracking into this review. Alrighty. So, wanted to unbox it just so that way you guys can see how it comes, what you're going to expect as you get it, and everything that's inside. Then we will set them up. I have a motherboard just sitting on a box behind me, so we'll get power to that. We'll set these up and then we'll start playing with the lighting modes and kind of review that. So let's dig in here and see what we got. Okay, so right up on top, looks like we have the controller sitting here. And looks like it actually has multiple fan plugins. So even though this is a 3-pack, it looks like, just taking a quick peek at it closely here, you can connect up to 6 fans. I know you can buy a 5 kit of this same exact fan kit for even under $30 still. But I just wanted 3 fans. I didn't need 5 for a build I was doing. So, and this is powered by Molex. So, yeah, I mean, it's not SATA, but it works. It's cheap, right? And next we have the controller. We'll see exactly how that all works. I literally have no idea. This is the first time I'm looking at this product. So, looks, I guess, what you would consider relatively standard as far as a RGB lighting controller. And we got the controller instruction, so we may be referencing that here in a minute. And onto the fans. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. IceTek. Looks pretty good. Actually, this looks pretty darn good for the amount of money I paid, honestly. So, something I like here, we got some rubber dampening on both sides that is pre-installed. Some of the cheaper ones, they give you like little things to stick on. So this has a good solid feel to it, and the rubber dampening is nice for cheaper fans. Definitely tend to vibrate and send those vibrations through the case, so glad that was taken into consideration. This fan design, the blade design, actually it looks really neat. I like that. And I'm not sure if it's really super functional, but it's kind of, if you notice, it's got like this little kind of like dual blade design and some ridges on it, so it's pretty neat looking. I like it. And then for the plugin, yes, this is very proprietary, so I guess keep that in mind. Let's reference the controller here. Yeah, so don't expect to buy these and just plug it into your motherboard. And doesn't look like it has a RGB connector. We'll find out here, but just fan right off the bat is definitely not going to plug into your motherboard. This is a very proprietary connection. It's like 6 pins on this thing. So anyway, all right, so let's get all of them out of here. There's 2 and 3. So all 3 fans here. Okay, and actually let's push that to the side. All right, and then the last thing in the box is just some screws, which is nice because I've heard sometimes even on the super cheap fans, I've never ran into this before, where they don't provide screws. So they're not radiator screws, just basic case fan screws, kind of the standard stuff that you see. So, and that is it in the box. So let's get a closer look at setting it up on a motherboard, and we'll go from there. Alrighty guys, so we are back here with my motherboard sitting out here on just a box here we're using just for powering these things on purpose. We're not putting these into a case for this video. You'll see that actually in a video I have coming up. So we have Molex power, coming off my power supply. And another note, I don't know if I noted this before, but the controller here does have some pre-applied double-sided sticky tape. That will be for actually applying that to somewhere inside your case. So let's go ahead and plug in power via Molex. All right, good there. Shove that to the side. Let's bring over the fans. And one thing I want to point out with these fans too are that there is no illumination or lighting zone on the back side of the fan, or the intake portion of the fan. This is where air would be moving through. You're not going to see as much lighting effect. So ideally you probably want these kind of as like an exhaust fan and a top exhaust fan, so that way you can see kind of the light show a little better. And that's what I plan on doing. I'm going to put 2 in the top and then 1 on the back, so that way it kind of really illuminates the build that's to come, by the way. So with the controller, I would suggest, like with most any kind of RGB controller, plug in fan 1 to fan 1, fan 2 to fan 2, etc., etc. Don't, kind of put them all over the place. Make sure that you're orientated that way, so that way when you're plugging in for lighting effects, things don't look funky. Another quick note too, which I found was a little interesting. This is like 2 cables kind of braided into one, which I guess isn't really bad, but it might make for a little bit more of a headache for cable management, since there's 2 cables here going on that come off the fan and join into the connector that goes into the controller. I wouldn't say that's really a big deal. I've seen much worse in regards to cable managing RGB stuff. Let's get these all plugged in. 1, 2, and 3 fan slots on the controller. That's the total number of fans that I have. You can buy a bigger, like 5-pack of fans if you're wanting more. And like I mentioned earlier, this kit will support up to 6 on one controller. All set. Let me go get some power to my power supply and get this motherboard powered up. We'll see what it looks like. Alrighty, so we got power to the power supply. I turned off some of my studio lights so we can kind of capture the lighting on the fans a little bit better, so that way it's not being so washed out with a bunch of light. So let me flip the switch on the power supply here and jump this motherboard. There we go. Alrighty. Oh wow, those suckers are pushing some air. Oh. Sorry for the loudness on the CPU fan here on the motherboard. Cool. So let's see what we can figure out here as far as the controller. All right, so off. Let's turn things back on. Okay. All right, so RGB spectrum, and then I guess you can just set like color, like static colors. So there's pink, red, just make sure all these buttons work, I guess. Green, purple, kind of more looks like a blue. Well, here's blue. It's just lighter. So cool, yeah, I mean you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11 different static presets that you can push, and then you can just cycle through the modes. So RGB spectrum, this is just cycling different colors in kind of a chasey ring way. That's kind of cool. That's crazy. I would never use that. That'd give me a seizure. Yeah, I mean they're neat. That's kind of cool. That one like builds. That's neat. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options here as far as what you want to do for colors. What's your cup of tea here? Pretty cool stuff. They feel like they push a good amount of air. There's a good amount of RGB to it. They're not the absolute craziest, brightest things in the world, but for $25, I don't really think you can, give this a hard knock, really, because there's some premium-ish features, I guess you could say, to it, where the fans have some nice rubber dampeners to them. They're kicking out a fair amount of air for sure. They're super quiet. The controller controls up to 6 fans at once, and you have your own remote. So the only downsides obviously being is if you have a more modern motherboard, not like this one I have here that has 0 RGB implementation, but you're not going to be able to sync these. It doesn't look like there is a way to do that at all. Alrighty guys, so that covers the IceTek RGB fans. I'd have to say I'm pretty impressed by the implementation here. There's nothing really hard to knock on it. I set out to buy some cheap RGB fans to spice up a build that I'm doing, and this will do exactly that. There's a lot of different color options, especially with the remote. You can control it and even has good range. I didn't find anything faulty with the controls. Sometimes some cheaper implementations, I guess. Although I can't really find RGB fans much cheaper than this, to be flat out honest with you. I think I may have run across an Up Here brand that was literally $1 cheaper. There's good functions to the remote. As you saw, we went through a lot of different color cycles, so you can kind of set it at your heart's content. Some negatives, I can only think of maybe just 1 or 2 here. Definitely one being if you want to set PWM. So you want to ramp these up with like your CPU taking on more load, or your graphics card or whatever. There's no PWM control. It doesn't look like it's possible. So I'm impressed. I like it. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. Some good lighting and for the cheap. So I'm gonna put a link down in my description where you can go pick these up. It's through my Amazon affiliate. Check those out, give them a try. Additionally, there's some other products down there too for other things that I've either featured on my channel or have done reviews of that I would recommend. And before you guys go, make sure you do the YouTube thing for me. Give me a like if you enjoyed this content on these fans. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the bell notification, so that way you're notified when I drop new content. And other than that, thanks for tuning into this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.